morning. There's no Charles here, but I'll try my best to do a talk show alone. Alone, I'll try as hard as I can to do a talk show without a partner. I'm gonna be crazy talking to just me. Talking to just me. Talking to just me. Alright, good morning. I don't know what's happening here. I mean, look, it's a lonely morning. There's so many terrible things that have happened so far. First off, I cannot for the life of me get my calculator or netbook, whatever you call it. It's basically a TI-84 to stream at a consistently easy way. I have to spend 45 minutes every time I want to stream just to get my camera to be recognized. And the reason is because I'm using a PlayStation 3, the iCam, which works fantastic on a PlayStation 3, but barely at all on a TI-84. Now, secondly, I need to address the fact that there is no Charles Ball. There's no Buck Ball. Where is he? Well, he had a lot to do, or he was doing stuff. I guess it's more so last night he was really busy. He was getting busy. So sometimes when people are busy or having things to do, there won't be that partner for the talk show in the morning. What do you want me to do? You want me to go pull the covers off of him at some other place with gosh only knows what he's doing? It's probably not appropriate for cameras. I'm not going to do it. I have respect for myself, for you, and for him. So let's move on. Secondly, next week, there's a good chance I'm going to be in Vegas. Now, if I'm in Vegas, is Charles going to come all the way there to see me there? Probably not. He's welcome to come, but he's not staying on the couch in our hotel room, that's for sure. He can sit in front of the roulette table at Big Gambling Bill's Casino, which is the first place I'm going. So, I apologize for the inconsistency in time of when this show starts. I apologize for the inconsistency in Charles Ball over here. Can we call it a fun couple if he's not involved? Probably not. It's not a fun couple, but it's a talk show. It's a talk show in the most general sense. This place is a wreck. I'm gonna blame it on Charles. Who's over here? So let's take a quick talk about what's been going on this week. There was a couple earthquakes in Iraq. Nope. It was in Iran. Gosh, pretty American over here. It was either Iraq or Iran. I'm not an expert on history of the week. Gosh, what was it? There was multiple ones. A lot of people died. It was tragic and I can't remember. But nonetheless, I hope things work out okay over there. The Olympics have continued. They didn't stop them in the middle. Without Charles here, it's a little tougher to do a talk show when you're just talking to yourself. Well, perhaps there's somebody out there that's talking to me. Let's just see. Let's just see if there's anybody. Is there anybody listening? Is there anybody listening? Let's see. Poll. That's not going to do anything. That's the other problem is I don't like this Ustream shenanigans here. Because I can't see what the hell's going on your end. I don't know if you're chatting. I don't know what's going on over there. Oh, well. So, I guess I'll share with you, if you'd like, I've been working on a Dark Souls song. I don't have much to show for it. It's a lot of research, not a lot of stuff coming out of it. But here is the first part of it. It goes like this. Never should have gone down round Black Town. Would have been fine at the Fire Lake Shrine. No, that's not how it goes. Hold on. I got it now. I've only got one line. we should have gone down round Blight Town. Would have been fine if the filing shrine. So, yeah, that's what I got there. Yeah. That's, it has been frustrating because my problem is I don't understand the story of the game from the beginning to the end. Now, Epic Name Bro is working on an amazing project of getting the lore down, but the lore seems to be in the past of what all the things that happened before you arrived. My song was really going to be more about the journey of the player from the beginning to the end of it. But I'm finding that everyone's journey is different, just like real life. I mean, Dark Souls, really pretty much just like real life. In the sense that everybody's okay. There's a lot of questionable things to that. Maybe it's not exactly like it. But the players will all start at the same spot, but you can go anywhere and see the story unfold in any order, but it's always pretty much the same thing. It's not like Fallout where you make one choice at one place and it can affect the way people respond to you somewhere else. Snow and Ornstein are pretty much going to attack you no matter what you do. So that's the most challenging part of that, and obviously time. I'm a busy guy. I don't have a lot of opportunity to sit around and fiddle on my fiddle. Work, you know. I guess the other good news is I don't know if anybody remembers it. I don't know why people would remember outfits, but a long time ago I used to wear this a lot, and I lost it. I found it yesterday while I was looking for some nice dress pants in my closet. It was folded up in the back. It's my Call of Duty Black Ops dev team shirt. So this is from when I was working on Call of Duty Black Ops. You know what? I guess why don't I tell you a little bit about that? A little bit about my history at Activision. What the hell? I'll go one further. I'll tell you how I got my job at Gamefront. Because in all likelihood, if you're not one of my close friends, my mom, my grandma, my sister, or my niece and my nephew, or my dad, or my brother, or my best friend, or Mitch or Zach, or my girlfriend, oh my god, I can't believe I'd forget about that. If you're not one of those people, then you probably know me from Gamefront. Oh, even Mitch and Zach too. Oh, I lost track. Anyways, so here it goes. A long time ago, when I moved to California, I tried to get a job as a tester. For 2 years straight, I gave at least 4 applications, and I was like, I'll do it. I'll work really hard. I'll do the extra hours. No callbacks. Nobody even gave me an interview, because apparently everybody wants to be a tester. 2 years later, my girlfriend was in a band called the Spanks at the time, and their lead guitar player was a manager at Activision. Now, I have to sign some non-disclosure agreements, so if you're part of the press or Activision, stop listening now, don't say anything out loud, and nobody hold me to any of the words I'm about to say. So, anyways, after the manager from Activision was in my girlfriend's band, she told him that I had been I worked at the Coffee Bean for a long time, and my girlfriend was not a happy fan of me being a barista. Granted, it's a good job for an honest day's pay, but she wasn't happy about me being a barista, so she talked to her new lead guitar player and said, could you hook up James with a job at Activision? And the way the world works, specifically Activision in the video game industry, but sadly the world, I'm not defending it, I'm just explaining it. It's about who you know. And immediately, her lead guitar player got me an interview where somebody asked me silly questions like, what order would I butter toast on? Like, I don't know, I'm sure that it was like Mr. Miyagi's waxing a car on Now You Know Karate. How do you butter your toast? Now you know how to test a video game. But I got it. I sat down, and when I walked away, I knew I had the job. And it was all because I knew an in. Otherwise, I couldn't even get inside the door. So I started working at Activision, but the problem is everybody's dream job of being a tester is actually everyone's nightmare. The first project I was on was, I'm not going to say the name of anything just in case. I've already screamed Activision up and down. But I was on a small to-go console. We'll call it the Nintendo DS. and I was playing a rhythm-based game where there was buttons on the top like this. And, okay, fuck it. It was Guitar Hero. It was Guitar Hero DS. And I was working on it for 8 hours a day for 3 months. I didn't have a lot of overtime on this project, but I worked on it for 8 hours a day looking like this. You couldn't just hold it straight. You can't hold your wrist straight. You have to bend it. And when you're playing it for more than 4 or 5 hours, around hour 6 through 8, your neck starts going down like this. And you're playing guitar like this all day long. You're like, oh my God, I hope I don't ever have to hear this song again. So, months and months of that. I already knew at that point that I didn't want the job. Because I would see other people at work. They're playing the PlayStation version. They're playing the Xbox version. I was even jealous of the people playing the Wii version. And I would walk around and I would never, I wouldn't look where I was going. I would look at the ground because my neck had just arced. Oh, it was terrible. And one day, they started firing people. Like almost everybody that I was working with on Guitar Hero DS got let go. And I got transferred over to the downloadable content for Guitar Hero 3. So I worked on like the Top Gun theme song. I worked on several different things. And it was tough. Like I wasn't very good at my job at the time. And I was glad that I was no longer on the DS. But it was challenging. Now, believe it or not, I'm not an expert Guitar Hero player, even after working there. But so then when Guitar Hero 4 came out, I was one of the first people to start working on that, and the game we were ramping up, and there was a lot of people working on it. When a game is full throttle, you have a lot of people working on it, like hundreds of people working on it. And there's a day crew and a night crew. And I went on with that game for about 3 months, and then after they had their code release candidate, which they ship and they know it's going to make it, when they know they're done, they let go of a lot of people. And I realized I was not very good at my job. So I saw people getting fired every week, and I was like, oh man, I got to really start working harder. I start typing in text bugs. I look up the syllable breaking downs of the vocals. I'm looking at every little tiny thing and putting it in the system, and just trying as hard as I can to do a good job. And time comes, and all of a sudden, I'm the last of the people to be staying. I'm like one of a very small group working on Guitar Hero 4 DLC, whereas everybody else is moving on to whatever was next. It might have been Guitar Hero Metallica. It's hard to remember right now. But so I was in the DLC for Guitar Hero 4, and not only that, but I was training the new people to come in. So if you were coming in from a different project, let's say that, I think it was around the time Modern Warfare 2 came out. If you're a really good employee on Modern Warfare 2, but they don't have a spot for you, they'll send you somewhere else. Now, if you get sent to Guitar Hero, it's a much different game to test than anything else in the world, which I find out later works vice versa. So we get people to come in, and they're decent testers, but they don't know how to play Guitar Hero. When you don't know how to play Guitar Hero, you can barely watch the screen. You don't know how to watch the animation afterwards. So I went from a position where I thought I was going to lose my job because I wasn't good at Guitar Hero, but I was good at finding animation issues, like animation problems, like different bugs, and text problems, spelling errors. Even though I'm not a good speller, sometimes just because you're not a good speller doesn't mean you can't copy and paste every word you see and put it into dictionary.com. Thank you, dictionary.com. I wouldn't be here without you. So I went on with Guitar Hero DLC for a long time, and I liked it. But the problem with Guitar Hero is it's such a specific skill that once you become a good worker in Guitar Hero, nobody wants to give you up, because then they have to train a new person, and even the best training that you give someone will never surpass the person, or at least for a while, who has trained them. So when I was training, it was really tough, and there was no way for me to get out. I was always going to be on Guitar Hero, which was okay. It wasn't as bad as working on the DS. And once we started doing DLC, you work on a pack of music for like about 3 or 4 weeks, depending on the importance and the size. And and sometimes you listen to the song in slow motion for a whole day. But you get over it. It's a job. But I was stuck there forever until all of a sudden, it was right around when Pop Hero, or I forgot what it was called. It was one of the Guitar Hero games was coming out. And somehow I had a friend, the original person who got me the job in the first place I was still working with my girlfriend in the band, and had known that I was stuck there. So when he had a project working on a racing game called Blur, the very first group of people to work on it, he pulled me in. And so I had to learn how to test a completely different game, a racing style game. And it was tough, but it was great to be out of the Guitar Hero world, because in the Guitar Hero world, it's just the same thing every day, over and over and over. And in Blur, the thing is, you get a new game, it's fun, it's exciting, you get new issues and people to work with, but when it's done, you get let go. That's the way it goes, unless there's a place to put you. So at the time, I worked on Blur for a long time, and when it was first coming through the system, we didn't like the game. Like, at the end, it was getting close, and they were just giving, because we would do evaluations of it, and everybody I was working with was like, this game is terrible, you shouldn't put it out, I would never play it, blah, 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 blah. The testers and like everybody working on it was like, this game sucks. So Activision was like, fine, we're not releasing it. They completely cut the project, put it on hold, everyone got fired. For the first time in my life, I was unemployed at the drop of a dime. I went in, it was supposed to be overtime week where we're going to do a bunch of stuff. I go in, tell them the game's not very good. Not just me, it wasn't just my fault. Everybody agreed with me. But they were like, okay, boom, we're holding off the project till next year. So everybody got laid off. I went back to the Coffee Bean for a while. Eventually went back to Blur when they started working on it, worked on it to almost release. We were already doing the beta at the time. And that's when they were hiring for Call of Duty Black Ops. They didn't know what it was at the time. And so when they were hiring for Call of Duty Black Ops, I had applied for it. It was really not that long after I started working on Blur again. It was just a long process. And I had interviews, and so it's tough. When you're going to Activision, that's a publisher. That's a tough job. You don't get treated very well. I wouldn't say you get treated terribly. You get treated pretty terribly. And unless you know somebody in management, you're not going to be treated very well by anybody, and you're probably never going to move up. So again, it's who you know, and I got lucky. So I put a resume out there, and the guy from Treyarch contacted my bosses from Activision and asked what they thought of me. And of course, I was friends with management, and I did a good job. I wasn't a bad employee. So they said he did a good job. Then Robin, before he left, he ended up moving away. I don't know if he still works for Activision or not, but he moved. I shouldn't have probably said his secret name. That's not his real name. But so he lives in Canada now. I don't know what company he works for, but he gave me a letter of recommendation that probably could have gotten me presidency if it went to the right person. Like, he wrote down a really nice letter of recommendation, and I got hired the next week. I didn't even stick around for Blur to finish. I got transferred to Call of Duty. When I went to Treyarch, that's when things change. When you're a developer, you all of a sudden are with people that care about you, who have a genuine investment in your future and want you to do a good job. So although a lot of people will complain about Call of Duty and be like, oh, it sucks this, it sucks that, when you're working as a developer there, you put your heart and soul into the game, and the people around you become your family. Why? When I started, there was no textures on the walls, there was no character movement, there would just be boxes moving like this across the room. And by the end of the project, after minimum 12-hour days, 7 days a week, I went 50, I think it was 53 days without a day off. My shortest day being 12 hours. My average day being 16 hours. My longest day of work ever was 27 hours straight, and that was in the middle of working 7 days a week. And it was hard. And I remember that day because my girlfriend, I think, picked me up from work. And I was like ready to cry. It was like, because what happened? Nothing bad happened. It's just, I've been awake for 27 hours. And this is borderline the type of thing that they do to snap. It's like not waterboarding, but it's an interrogation technique, I'm sure. But she could have asked me anything, and I would have told the truth. Rare occasion. So that was when I was working on Call of Duty Black Ops, and what was done, I could have probably begged for my job, but I was let go. And at the time I was let go, I thought to myself, I never want to do this again. As much as I loved working on it, and I think this product that comes out, maybe it's not as great as I wanted it to be, but it's absolutely one of the things I'm most proud of being part of. Like, Call of Duty Black Ops to me was the pinnacle of my, in the game industry, what I can do. Now, this, I don't want to say this is kind of the game industry, what I do at Gamefront, but I think that's more on the entertainment industry of a different side. It's definitely related, but, so I don't want to say the things I do at Gamefront I'm not as proud as that as when I worked on Black Ops. It's a different thing to me. But, so, I was unemployed, and I was raking in pretty good unemployment money because of the fact that I was making a lot of money when I was at. The more you make, the more money you put into unemployment, the more money you get back when you're unemployed. Sucks to be unemployed if you're leaving a coffee shop. Great to be unemployed if you're leaving Call of Duty Black Ops. So I had pretty good money, and I was able to take it easy. I had a couple interviews. I interviewed at Sony for, I believe, I don't know really for sure because I didn't take the job. They did offer it to me after I got Gamefront. But I think they were working on God of War 3. And but I had an interview. I had an interview with Mark. I found it on Craigslist. So I mean, Craigslist, you can actually find jobs on there that people posted are crazy. I go in for an interview. I have this resume that's actually completely stellar. I've studied at Second City. I've done improv for at the time for probably I've been doing improv for about 15 years. So that's a pretty big comedy background. On the other side, I got this background of, like, I worked on Guitar Hero, I worked on Blur, I worked on Call of Duty. Let me show you, and I show myself going through one of the levels of Call of Duty where you get the Thunder Gun, single player. And I beat this level flawlessly, like, get killed by nothing. And that's not my style of game, but that's the tape I gave to Mark so that he would see what kind of a gamer I am. Now, yeah, sure, I'm kind of shaky. I'm not that good at video games, but I happened to play that level for 9 months until I was able to beat it faster than anybody else there. It was my one proud. I was good at Zombies Came Under Toten, and I was good at this Kowloon level. I think that's still what it's called. They might have changed the name. Those are the two things, and I was like, yeah, nobody here's got me on it. So, of course, that's what I'm going to show to Mark. And Mark thinks to himself, I've got this guy that's an amazing video game player, will be able to beat any scores, blah, 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 and he knows comedy. He doesn't know I'm really just an artist of bullshit. And I feel bad to this day. I think that we've all gotten something out of it. Like, he pretty quickly found out that I was not the gamer he thought I was when I was playing. I think Dragon Age was one of my first games I worked on, and I was terrible at it. But that was a role-playing game. It was a little different. It was extremely long. He may have just been like, okay, well, this is just that game. But when I started playing Dynasty Warriors, that one, I think he was getting frustrated with how hard it was for me. I'm trying to remember what it really was. It might have been... I don't remember what game it was where I felt like everybody was upset by how bad my gaming was, but I remember when people started to let me do things my own way. When I started working on LA Noire, and I was collecting the film reels and the Hollywood locations, and I was doing it in a voice. When I was doing the film reels, I'd be like, oh yeah, now just walk on down, you're going to find yourself a golden film reel. Mm-hmm. And people at first hated it, of course. Anything that's different, people are going to hate. But then slowly they started to enjoy it, and they started to like the creepiest voice on the internet. And then the other thing that I did is I would play the street crimes, and I would go, all right, I'm talking the whole time, this is James from Gamefront, and I'm going to kill this snot-nosed bastard, which was the first character and actual funniness that I was trying to add into these. So, and then beyond that, I started to do some things. She's out of frame. People were wondering if I broke up with my girlfriend. I did not break up with her. She just does not enjoy being on camera. So she watches in the other room. Granted, next week, she's playing a rock and roll show. These guitars, these aren't my guitars. You want to know why I play this guitar only? Well, it's the best of all guitars. But honestly, those aren't mine. So I could play them, but she doesn't like it when I touch them because she thinks I got Cheeto fingers. But this one works pretty good. Oh, and this one over here is She's telling me I should wrap it up. Have I gone too long? I think I have. Now I work at Gamefront. It's time to wrap up the talk show. I've been talking real long. Now you know how I got to work at Gamefront and why there's so many guitars on the back wall. Actually, I'll end it with this song. My stand-up comedy show, you get the beginning of one really foul song, but you don't get at all the beginning song that I opened that with. It goes like this. I'm going to put it up later, right? It goes, I'm just a good old American psychopath. Yeah, I'm just a good old American psychopath. Ricka chicka chicka wow wow wee. Ricka chicka chicka booby da bee. Waka waka taka baka tibi biba baba da ba boo. Yeah. I'm that guy on the street that you'd rather pass than get to me, 'cause I got that wild-eyed crazy grin and I got drool dripping down on my chin, 'cause I'm a good old American psychopath. 'Cause I'm that guy on the bus that's creating a big fuss, saying, hey, my name is Jesus, won't you let me take you to the promised land? Ricka chicka chicka wow wow wee. Ricka baka baka dee dee dee. Waka 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 ba 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 ba. I'm just a good old American psychopath.